This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapdosTCG. This video is also sponsored by Cardmarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by YourPlaymat.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. Sup YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. In this video we're going to be taking a look at some Paldea Evolved decklists that are doing very well in Japan right now. We're going to take a look at some City League results, and we're going to be seeing what the decklists are looking like. So if you're enjoying the content, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Let's check out the top 4 of a City League recently in Japan, and the thing we see here is a classic Gardevoir list. It is running one Mirage Step Kirlia, which I am not a big fan of. I think the refinement Kirlias are actually the only thing you will need if you're falling behind and using the Mirage Steps. I think it makes sense in that sense because there's like 4 Iono, so you do have the comeback potential. You have the Reversal Energy allowing you to, of course, get that crazy attack off with the Shining Arcana. So not a lot of weird things I would see here. A Worker definitely necessary, and with a format that you are very weak to stuff like Path to the Peak, but you have Palpad to, of course, recover the Worker, and you have 2 bumps in the form of Collapse Stadium and Artisan. So we're not going to go over all the decks in full detail. I did that before in the previous video, so let's see what else we have here. Another Gardevoir list. If you don't know, the Getsus is Balsasaur, so 2 copies of Balsasaurs. Still running a Clara, even though there's 2 Super Rod in here, so that's pretty interesting. Other than that, Cresselia seems to be a mainstay, and they're also using the Mirage Taps. I don't know why people are in Japan such a big fan of the Kirlia. I think it's definitely with 3 rare candy. I don't think the Mirage Tap is necessary, but other than that, great list. Gardevoir is doing well. There is a Shadow Rider deck over here. As you can see, Shadow Rider with 2 copies of Path to the Peak, and you're going to be able to utilize, there's a lot of more stadiums in here, very interesting. 3 copies of Forest Sealstone, and then 2 copies of Arven. So you want to set up, there's also a Mew in here for some particular reason, just because you probably, maybe just for the hit and run strategy. Nah, that's also not gonna be the thing. So there's a Mew in here for free retreat, so you can always start with Mew and then utilize the Shadow Mist at one point, I suppose. Not a lot of interesting things to be said here. The Mew could also utilize itself to get energies into play, but I'm not sure why the Mew is in here. Maybe it is just to utilize Escape Rope plays, so you can promote Mew and then retreat again. I don't know. Or maybe it is because of the fact that Mew is going to be able to Psychic Leap, so you can absorb. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. You can absorb a hit from a Cramorant and then Psychic Leap yourself back in the deck by KOing something like Comfey, and then you undoing a turn of the opponent. Maybe that is the reason that this Mew is in here. So Shadow Rider with Spiritomb shutting down Genesect V, Luminion, etc. All the V Pokemon are not going to be able to use their basic abilities, and with, of course, Path to the Peak and Shadow Mist, you could shut down entire engines, which is always very funky for sure. There is Lost Stone Box Kyogre with the Zamazenta, very similar to Piotr's list from Malmo Regional, so that is also doing pretty well. Super Rod, such fantastic card in the new Lost boxes. There's Artisan, still 1 copy of Roxanne in the late game, very good in the mirror match, by the way, so not a lot has changed there. Okay, moving forward, this was with also 32 players, City League. There's Ice Rider. Okay, you don't see that box. Is that Box of Disaster? That's pretty interesting. I think we really need to check what the Box of Disaster does, because in my opinion, that card is actually not that good. So Box of Disaster from Lost Origins. If you want to see what it does, it is now on the screen. Box of Disaster, if the V Pokemon it has full HP and is knocked out by damage, you can put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. This is actually a cool tech card. If you're attacking with your V Pokemon and a Gardevoir Shining Arcana slaps into you, you have the tech card to just upgrade, so because they're gonna knock themselves out basically. So very cool tool card. Maybe we'll see some more play when, of course, stuff like Gardevoir is the most popular deck in the format. There's Arceus with Ice Rider, utilizing the power of course, Trinity Nova to power up some Ice Riders. With 3 Choice Belts, you can hit some numbers, and 4 copies of Path to the Peak. Very strong to complement that. There's also 2 Lost Vacuums, and then there's also a Drapion. Drapion definitely necessary because you're playing a 4 path. You want to vacuum away the path so you can attack with Drapion. So interesting list for sure. We're gonna have to test out if Ice Rider can find itself back in the format. There's a Lugia utilizing all Carlos energies as well as 1 reversal energy. So if you don't know, Therapy Energy is a new energy coming in Paldea Evolved, allowing you to not be paralyzed or asleep anymore. This is going to be super cool for the Snorlax Thumping Snore, so you can attack for 180 and not fall asleep. Very strong. So Lugia turns into a 1-prize machine where you're going to be able to attack with Snorlax, you're going to be able to attack with Luxray, and in the late game, you can even utilize the Weirder V, which absorbs all energies if you fly to the active position with a Jet Energy. And then for every Kara's energy, for any energy, you're gonna be slapping 50 damage. So for a 1-hit KO, crazy attack, you could be utilizing that Weirder V. So strong. They're still playing Mesagosa. Penny to, of course, you can pick up a basic V Pokemon. That could be something like if you start with Drapion or your Luminia, you can put it back in hand very easily. So no single strike package in here. We also see the Charm of Courage, allowing you to have 50 additional HP. So your Snorlaxes have 200 HP. So that's actually pretty interesting. And yeah, there's actually 3 Thumping Snore Snorlax. So very focused on that. There's also the Squawkabilly or Squawkabilly, if you want to pronounce it correctly, utilizing that on the first turn. Discard your hand, draw 6. Another way to get those Archeops in the discard pile. Still a big fan of Burnett here. So yeah, Lugia is not going anywhere. It gets some new special energies and some new friends in the form of Luxray. Then there is another Gardevoir list. This is playing the Zacian. I think the other ones, I don't know if they all were playing the Zacian. They were more focused on Shining Arcana, which is going to be the mainstay. This is playing a Lost Vacuum. Other than that, pretty straightforward. 2 copies of Collapse and 2 copies of Worker. So they are respecting Path to the Peak. There is a Lost Zone Tina utilizing Spiritomb, so that's helping out their Mew VMAX matchup. But in that sense, you could also be playing Drapion. The choice is up to you. But since you are playing 2 copies of Path to the Peak, it does make sense that Spiritomb is better than Drapion, because otherwise you shut down your own Drapion. To Roxanne, they didn't go for the Iono package, but 4 copies of the Jet Energy. You do see here in that Lost Tina list is that Jet Energy becomes super important, and Super Rod also helping out. Roxanne Path is actually still very strong combo. Another 32 person, I don't know if that 32 person, let's just see if Google Translate can help me out with that, because I think that's with 32 people, right? Japan, yeah, capacity, 32 people. Yeah, I was right. So let's go. Another weirder version of the Lugia VSTAR deck. Seems like Luxray is very popular. Not only can Luxray make sure you can have an answer against Flying Pikachu VMAX, it also helps out to KO Lugias or Palkias if you're up against that. And definitely in a mirror match, Luxray becomes very important if you're falling behind in prize cards. 3 Thumping Snore. That seems to be very strong. Definitely with the Therapy Energy, they have Gift Energy to draw cards, Jet Energies. Yeah, Lugia seems to be strong. Palkia with Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao with the Baxcalibur. We've already checked out, yeah, Baxcalibur and a deck profile on Chien-Pao. I love the Kyogre to snipe 180, returning 3 energies back into your hand. Very self-explanatory list with Irida. You might think, why is there a Canceling Cologne in there? Well, sometimes if you're up against a wacky Ting-Lu deck, you could be utilizing the Canceling Cologne to still accelerate your energies with Baxcalibur and then knock it out. So, love the cheeky Canceling Cologne. Canceling Cologne could also work out against Mimikyu, although you do have a 1-prizer in your deck, being that Baxcalibur. Love the artwork of the Rare Canyon here, Skater Spark. So very similar to the list I've uploaded to my channel. They actually went for a 2-2 line of Palkia in here, as well as a 1-1 line of Beat Barrel. So they cut down on some superior energy retrieval, maybe another Rare Candy that they cut down here. So cool to see that Chien-Pao is not just a meme, but also getting some results here. Lost Tina. This is very similar to what I've been playing recently to test for in the Paldea Evolved format. Path is actually very strong. Path Roxanne against Gardevoir is awesome. You can also Path and Iono against other archetypes. This actually is not playing Drapion or any answer to Mew. Maybe Mew will be shut down thanks to Spiritomb. We don't know, but that's what we're taking here. So another list, Paldea Evolved with Chien-Pao on top of Baxcalibur and Palkia. So it seems that Palkia seems to be a mainstay. We do see 2 copies of the Charm of Courage in this specific 60. And with, of course, Irida, you can definitely get that Baxcalibur out in time. So also Kyogre seems to be around. Next, 64 people. We do see Miraidon. Okay, Miraidon seeing a little bit of a spotlight here. Miraidon and Raikou. Heavily relying on the Raikou. 3 copies of Raikou. A package of the Flaffy, a 2-1 line. And also only a 2-2 Regieleki VMAX. I love the Panic Mask. If you don't know what Panic Mask does, if the opponent's Pokemon have 40 HP or below, you cannot be damaged by them. So that means it's a counter against Gardevoir, Shining Arcana. Super cool to see. Double choice belt, so you can hit some bigger numbers with your Raikou or Miraidon. 3 Stormy Mountains and 2 Path to the Peak and 4 copies of Iono. So you actually want to have 15 energies. That's hilarious. So they really want to go for the turn 1 attack with Raikou. I probably think this list always wants to be going second. There's a Lostina. There's a Torton in here to come out of nowhere with a Giratina VSTAR. Actually very cool. We did see that before. I think in the days where Lost Origin was the latest format release, actually the latest set release, that was very popular. So very cool to see that Torton inclusion. 2 Roxanne, 1 Vacuum. Yeah, Path to the Peak seems to be the card that Tina really loves. This is an Arctina with Spiritomb edition. Instead of going for Drapion, they have, of course, the Spiritomb as an answer for Mew VMAX. And very similar to what actually won Portland Regionals, if I'm not mistaken. There's also Chair and Scare, a very cute card. You don't always find it at the correct time, but when you do, you upgrade against Lost Box, or actually undo turns. This is pretty much the American way of playing Kyogre, Lost Box, Dragonite, Raikou. No Sky Seal Stone, just 4 Seal Stone, kind of like a turbo mode, with of course 2 vacuums. No Pokestop, so not insanely Pokestop, insanely turbo like with Brandon Cameraman, but it is still a little bit turbo because you have 4 Seal Stone to fetch Lost Vacuum, and if you use 3 Comfies and a Colorless Experiment, you can get to the number of 7. Turn 1, Mirage Gate is definitely possible going second, or a Dragonite, so you can slap 250. Solid list, as mentioned. Super Odd helps out the Lost Boxes very, very crazily. There's a 64 League Challenge, actually not City League. We have Urshifu and Talion also still survives after Paldea Evolved, gets 3 Iono for the late game. Iono into some Yoga-Loop plays could be very strong for sure. You have Alakazam to, of course, spread some damage, and now you don't have to run all those crazy Drapions. You can just go for Spiritomb and hope the Mew VMAX doesn't draw any more cards, which is awesome for sure. Other than that, I don't see any other new cards. Just playing classic energy retrieval, not going for that superior energy retrieval because that's a little bit overkill. And we do see a Basculin, yeah, Basculin in there to slap revenge damage as a 1 prizer. So interesting for sure. It is still around. Next is a Gardevoir list playing no Zacian V, but instead going for a Weirder V to absorb all energies. Very funky way to start swing with Weirder V. Weirder V sees some more popularity here and there. There's also a Gallade in here as a fighting type inclusion, having 170 HP, slapping Arceus for weakness. Super Odd as a mainstay and 4 Iono. 2 copies of Avery, very good in the mirror match, by the way. I think if Gardevoir is the best deck in format, maybe people will grab towards a couple of Averys because that's actually very strong against a list like this. Then there is Arcpile, Arceus Duraludon, and this is actually Arceus Duraludon with Panic Mask, surviving yourself against Shining Arcana. So if they want to use Shining Arcana, they can because of Panic Mask. So that's a very cute inclusion. Karen's Conviction in here for the crazy damage output, and there's also the Stadium allowing you to increase the retreat costs. So that's helping out against the Jet Energy retreat combinations of Comfey. So funky list. Is Lost City better? Who knows? But it's Arcdura still doing things for trekking shoes. That's a little bit overkill. Moving forward, Arctina. So Arceus deck's still around, and it looks like Spiritomb is the best friend for oh yeah, this Arcduralon actually played Drapion. That's pretty bad. Spiritomb is way better as an answer against that because if you start with Drapion, sometimes you could lose the game. Any other cool cards here? Arctina with 3 Iono. Does make sense, and 2 copies of Chair and Scare, so I really want to go for that healing And next is an Arceus that has been included into a Baxcalibur Chien-Pao EX deck. So they shoved away a couple of cards, but you do have access to a V-Star power now. So for some additional consistency, they utilize Arceus V-Star in here. I don't know if it's the best way. Canceling Cologne also still in here. Canceling Cologne, oh yeah, I think the Canceling Cologne here also works out because you can attack with Greninja and you can boss up a Manaphy. It can uptrade very easily that way. So that's also a use of that Canceling Cologne. So I was wondering why they put it in here because Ting-Lu is not that popular, but now it makes sense. You can boss Manaphy, Canceling Cologne, and Ninja out of nowhere because you can drop the energies down with the Baxcalibur. Classic list, Turbo. This is Turbo mode, 3 Lost Vacuum, 2 Pokestop, Turbo Lost Box. Cool, Echoing Horn. Another Lost Tina. Lost Tina, still playing Path to the Peak. So I think we've almost seen most lists adapt right by now. This is also Dragon Knight. Turbo Lost Box, but not that Turbo, no Pokestops, but they do run the Luxray, which is also a very good attacker in a lot of matchups. Definitely against Lugia. Lost Tina. This is another 32 City League. Okay. Lost Tina, nothing we've seen before. Yeah, we haven't seen before, so Beach Court instead of Path in this situation. Then another Lost Tina. Lost Tina's doing pretty good. Definitely with the inclusion of Super Rods, it is doing pretty good. So was that a lot of Lost Tinas in that top 4? Crazy. A couple of Paths here, Boss, nothing noteworthy. There's another Lugia with, of course, the Therapy Energy and the couple of Thumping Snore with the Charm of Courage. Charm of Courage. Putting in the work, could also put that Weirder V to a whopping 270 HP. Does run that Avery, which is respecting the Gardevoir matchup. As of late, I do see that we haven't seen a lot of single strike Lugia yet. But here it is for 48 players, City League with Lugia. And of course, utilizing the Luxray. Luxray seems to be like a mainstay. Very good to end the mirror match, it seems. Also having 3 copies of Path and a Vacuum. So you really want to utilize Summoning Star, slap down Path so the opponent cannot play the game. I guess that makes sense. Iono with Path, also a strong combo against Gardevoir to just help you out in that matchup. There's an Arctino with a 1-1 Vulpix. Alolan Vulpix V-Star cannot get attacked by Pokemon with abilities. So if Gardevoir lists are not attacking in Drifloon or anything, or any attacker that doesn't have an ability, they can instantly lose. This is also very plausible because you can chair and scare up an Arceus when they least expect it. So very cool for sure. There is a Samurott V-Star. I haven't seen Samurott V-Star in a while. Ancient Origins, I think it was the set when it was released. Not that great, unfortunately. But it does use Alakazam here to slap huge damage. Being a Darkness type helps out ridiculously against Mew VMAX as well as Gardevoir EX. And definitely with bosses and Serenas in there, I could see this working out. I don't know if it's going to be that great in Metal, although being weak to Grass is actually pretty good right now. There's another Gardevoir list, very similar to what we've seen before. Reversal Energy as a one-off also seems to be a mainstay. This is still implementing that Sky Seal Stone combination with Zacian. Does help out against Arctina decks as well. Next is a Mew. We haven't seen Mew all that much, and a 70-person City League with Mew VMAX, Malouetta build. What is new with this? 4 copies of Forest Seal Stone. They really want the consistency, it seems. And you can also Lost Vacuum away the Forest Seal Stone or just drop them down. So it does make sense to just get that combo. But with 4 copies of Forest Seal Stone, why would you run 3 copies of Alessa Sparkle? That is definitely a spot that needs to get open. I personally would cut down 1 Forest Seal Stone, I would cut down 1 Alessa Sparkle, and I would include some other cards here because... yeah, you can definitely get away with playing 2 Alessa Sparkle and 3 Forest Seal Stone. So, cool list. Maybe adding a Silene to just get some power tablets back. But the split line between Crystal Cave, Lost City, and Path. Maybe adding an Iono. That could also be working out. But Mew VMAX Fusion build. You can dong people. Arceus, Duraludon with Umbreon. And the Panic Mask. Panic Mask helps out, as mentioned, against Shining Arcana. This list has been performing super well at the Hartford Regional, so it does make sense that it is not going anywhere after Paldea Evolved is here. The Box of Disaster as a tool card, as well as Panic Mask. So you even can take the additional prize card, or you can make sure that they cannot attack with Shining Arcana. So super cool for sure. We don't see the Volo in here anymore, which is something I really loved in a deck like this. The Arceus Slacking deck, because you have access to the Spiritomb, you can actually shut down the ability of Slacking, so you can just attack with it whenever you feel like. 260 damage output is very strong with Choice Bell. That's numbers on, of course, V-Star Pokemon. the Charm of Courage can put the slacking all the way to 280 for a basic Pokemon. You have Chair and Scare, so lots of disruption as well with the Fan of Waves here on 4 copies of Iono and 2 Judges. So it seems just as Arceus slacking, and also put in the Hoopa there for Mew VMAX, as well as the Gardevoirs. Also very cool to see the Charizard being implemented here in the late game as an attacker. Then a random Grass deck getting into top 4, who knows? Shaymin VSTAR, Wu-Chen EX, and Fortress EX. You blow up your Fortress, you Iono, and you start swinging with either Shaymin to attack the active, or of course utilizing the Wu-Chen to snipe. I don't know how to feel about this. You can Boost Shake instantly. I don't know if Boost Shake is that necessary, to be honest. If you go first, Pineco instantly. Otherwise, you give up a weak HP Pineco, which can get Escape Roped or Ball Stopped by something. So, very cool. I don't know if it's going to be seeing any play over in the Western world, but it's definitely nice to see for sure. Gardevoir, nothing special. Actually, nothing special. Just a classic list. Also, the Gallade in here to fetch a supporter, I suppose. Then the Lugia single strike version, and they added in a 1/1 Duraludon, which is very great in the mirror match because I don't know if you've noticed, but these therapy versions of Stumping Snow Snorlax Lugia do not have an answer for the Duraludon, so you can instantly win with that. There's an Arctina. Squawk ability is great for the not whiffing out that first turn energy attachment. Cleansing Gloves and Choice Belt seems to be the main cards utilized in Arctina. Lost Box Charizard. What can we see with Lost Box Charizard? They actually included 3 copies of Sableye, 3 copies of Cramorant, helping out against Lost City being in Dex. I don't know if it's that necessary. 4 Trekking Shoe, 4 Colress Experiment, 4 Pokegear. They don't want to whiff. They are not playing cross switchers or anything. Instead, they went for max on consistency with this deck. This actually could be a great deck when Paldea Evolved hits the scene because it's just super easy with all of these 4-offs. Mew DTE also still around. They have the 1 copy of the Fusion Energy, which helps against Spiritomb. So if you put 1 Fusion Energy onto a Genesect, you can still draw cards. So that's pretty much what it is. So you can be not be affected by the Spiritomb's ability. Other than that, 4 Judge, 4 Path, you know what it is. Mew still around. Mew DTE is around, but also Mew Fusion Strike. Very similar to the build that actually won the Hartford Regionals. They actually have the cape of the Charm of Courage, 50 additional HP. Could that help out against Meloetta to be out of range from something like a Cramorant? Could be. Could also make it out of range. So you can put the Charm onto a Genesect. So at one point they cannot like utilize Kyogre for something. Who knows? Definitely something to think about why the Charm is there. There's another Dragonite, Lost Zone Box Kyogre. Nothing to see here. Some more. Yeah, this is the Drifloon with the Charm of Courage. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool because then Drifloon can slap 330. Very scary. No Sky Seal Stones. So people have abandoned their Sky Seal Stones in Gardevoir. Arctina with Capturing Aroma. Don't know how to feel about that. It's a little bit coin flippy. Alolan Vulpix VSTAR still making its move. Lugia with single strike package. There's a Melmetal in there. I really want to check here what the Melmetal is doing because I clearly have no idea. Melmetal. It is a metal type Pokemon. That's something we can all agree upon. Is that from Fusion Strike? Yeah, I guess we have it over here. What is this card doing? In 80 damage. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon that have abilities. Okay. Very crazy tech card against Gardevoir, to be honest, because they will all have abilities. So if you can go Melmetal, you can save some turns. They are forced to use Balsasaurus. Interesting. Can also put some single strike energies on there for more damage output. Okay. Moving forward, Chien-Pao with a 1/1 Paldea VSTAR in here. So it looks like Paldea VSTAR is going to be the way the deck gets played most of the time. Because you can have early game aggression. The Star Portal also super good to get energies back when you get Iono'd, so it does make sense. Double Canceling Cologne, helping you uptrade with that Radiant Greninja. Okay, 32 players. Some more Gardevoir action. I don't know if you noticed, but Gardevoir is just seeing so much play. There's an Empoleon V and a Blizzy V in here. That's hilarious. With Blizzy V, you can sometimes drop with 2 energy, superior energy retrieval, slap down all your energies onto Blizzy and just boom, evaporate. That's gonna be a funky attack card for sure, because 250 is a lot of hit points to be handled, and Empoleon can also shut down basic Pokemon without a rule box, so you can shut down Comphase. A funky looking Zoroark box. That makes my heart smile for sure. Slowbro taking up double prize card when the opponent has one prize card remaining. There is the Mightyena. There's the Appleton. Actually, Flapple. There is the new Trevenant. I don't know what the Trevenant does. There's an Arcanine. Oh yeah, these are all Pokemon that can attack for the triple reversal energy right here. So you can get an attack with a lightning Pokemon off. You can attack with the Trevenant as a grass Pokemon to KO stuff like Tyrannotars. Cool, I love this. We're gonna have to definitely test this out on the channel. Arcdura Umbreon. Nothing too spicy. Moving forward, there is Goodra. Okay, it's been a while since we've seen Goodra. 100-player tournament, so don't count Goodra out just yet. Using Zamazenta as a backbone, as a one-prize attacker. You have the Mirage Gate, you have the Super Rod. So pretty much all the Lost Zone boxes appreciate the fact that Super Rod is here and Spiritomb as an answer against Mew instead of chunking your deck with 2 Drapions. Talking about this is a funky Mew deck that uses Cramorant. So with 4 copies of Lost Vacuum, you can attack with Cramorant. You have Panic Mask, you have Pokemon Catcher. This is the wackiest Mew list I've seen all day. Artina Flying Pika. Flying Pika, being immune from basic Pokemon, could help out against Lost boxes, that's for sure. Another Mew GTE build with cross switchers. Something that was implemented ever since the London Open at Worlds 2022. Still around. Then with 72 players, there's going to be an Urshifu Italian list performing quite well. And yeah, it is playing Ionos. Gardevoir without Sky Seal. Not a big fan. I like the Sky Seal still around. There's a Goodra list. Artisan seems to be the stadium of choice. Getting that additional Pokemon into play a little bit earlier. Echoing Horn is nice. And this Goodra list is also playing Sableye, by the way. So people were not expecting that. Pure Kyogre Lost box with Zamazenta. Yeah, very similar to Piotr's list as mentioned. Okay, with 32 players, we have some more Gardevoir. This is playing the Mewtwo V Union. It's kind of clunky in my opinion, but it does play 4 copies of that Reversal Energy. So if you're falling behind, which you probably will do with this Mewtwo build, you can use Reversal Energy to start up trading with Shining Arcana. And there's also Mirage Tap. So funky list, Peonia definitely necessary to complete the Mewtwo puzzle piece. And then we have access to, of course, Iono with Path against specific matchups. Artina, there's another therapy list of the Lugia VSTAR, Squawkabilly in here, and double Charm. So the Charm would make these Snorlax way too tanky for specific Pokemon. Let's say like a DTE onto something like an Arceus. They cannot even KO Snorlax with a Charm, which is hilarious. Now, this is Lost Tina. I don't know if there was anything different about this list. Probably not. More Lost Tina action is playing Lumineon for that, finding that supporter at the right time. Goodra with Vulpix. And the Equity Lake, so we have 20 reduction coming into your Pokemon with water energies. Interesting. Some more Arctina. So, yeah, a little bit of a variety of everything. The format will be super huge for Worlds on NAIC, it seems. Arceus Flying Pika. What is this? Worlds 2022? There's a Chien-Pao Baxcalibur with Vulpix. Why is Vulpix getting so much hype? If Vulpix gets too much hype, people will just stack in Drifloon in their Gardevoir list. Goodra with Zamazenta seems to be popular as well. And then the Regis. Wow. Wow, the Regis. Oh, I'm so happy that I'm actually seeing these Regis right now. Regigigas deck, utilizing the Luminous Energies, Super Rod, as well as Iono. So lots of cards from the new set. Pokemon Catcher, that's a little bit YOLO behavior, but still playing 3 paths. So we'll have to test out this Regi because I actually did top 4 from 64 players. Okay, Mew VMAX, Fusion builds. That's the way I like it. 2 Forest Seal Stone, 2 Alessa. Don't overkill with the Forest Seal Stone. Another Gardevoir list. Miraida with Magnezone EX. Magnezone EX slaps more damage for every energy attached to the opponent's Pokemon. 50 damage, so weird. It's just actually Magnezone EX. That's the deck. I don't even see Cheryl's in here, so I don't know why this is so good, I suppose. I don't know how to feel about this. Top 4, I guess. There's Arceus, Palkia, Umbreon with Baxcalibur. Weird list. I don't know. The Baxcalibur sets of these Pokemon, I suppose. We have Chien-Pao as well. That seems so clunky to me. Okay, Lost Box Charizard with an Entei splashed in there to just absorb 2 spits in the early game. You can also hit from some bigger damage output. Gardevoir with Mewtwo, and it seems that Mewtwo V Union is always paired with 4 copies of Reversal Energy. Gallade also in there. And Lugia list, Single Strike with the Duraludon package. There is Arctina. Just the classic Arctina also always sneaks into the top 4s. Urshifu and Talion. No, yeah, these lists have been refined. Gardevoir. Chien-Pao, there's a Feebas and Milotic in here, preventing you from the opponent from altering your hand. So you can get your hand and it's not gonna get stuck, and you can Radiant Greninja. So interesting to see that Milotic tag card in there as an Iono protection. Another weirder Snorlax Stumping Snore list of Lugia. 84 players. Let's see what they have, what they bring to the table. It is Lostina into Gardevoir, Arctina. And okay, Arceus with Flying Pikachu VMAX as well as Tapu Koko VMAX. Paralyzation with Iono. Don't count that out quite yet. It is very similar to Tandem Shock with the Raichu back in the day. Panic Mask also becoming more and more popular. Okay, Goodra with Kyogre. I haven't seen that combination. There's Arceus with Shadow Rider. That's just with 32 players, by the way. Turbo Loss Box. And a little bit less Turbo Loss Box. Okay, let's see here. Arceus with Espeon VMAX. The funkiest things come out in the City Leagues. Lostina. Sablezard with Zamazenta. As why would you need both of them? A Vitality Band, actually a Defiance Band for if you're behind. 30 additional damage. And then Single Strike Lugia VSTAR. Some more Lugia action this time around, using 3 Fire Energies and a Charizard for the late game action with double choice belts. And only 3 Archeops. Wow, you're living on the edge, bro. There's Arctina. There is Snorlax Block. I like this. Snorlax Block still around. With, of course, 4 copies of Stampo because, as mentioned, with the Jet Energy in the format, it's actually way more difficult to trap opponents. But yeah, with 2 copies of the Misfortune Sisters, 2 copies of Palpad, you can actually discard all their switching outs and then trap the opponent with the Snorlax. And the Snorlax also gains the Charm of Courage, 200 HP blocker. Gardevoir. Oh, they have Champions Festival. This is a rich Japanese person. Crazy. Okay, Lostina, Arctina, Arceus and the Regidraco family. And the Charizard for the late game. Cool, cool, cool. They have the new Noivern, making sure that they are immune from basic Pokemon. You can shut down special energies and stadiums. We need to revisit Regidraco. That's something we need to do. Another Arc pile with Duraludon. Then 128 players. Fusion Mew with some sniping of the Ice Cube. It's been a while since we've seen that. There's Chien-Pao and even a Suicune in here. So Chien-Pao, it's actually Palkia, Chien-Pao and friends, but the Chien-Paos just collect the water energies, I suppose. And this is also not playing Baxcalibur. They're all playing that funky Cleansing Cologne. Pokestop build, that was weird. Some Guardy lists. Okay. Next is another Lugia list. They actually have the Drapion for the Mew matchup. Maybe that was popular during their locals. They're more Guardy. Zoroark. We haven't seen Zoroark quite yet. Also playing that Jack supporter. You can use them, slap them down on the bench and Gabe Job box stuff. Yeah, Beatstick. Only for a 32 City League, so not that quite relevant. But yeah, it is still around. Tinkatong EX for every card in your hand, slapping more damage as a stage 2 300 HP Pokemon. Probably not the best out there, but it was for 50 Pokemon, 50 players in that City League. There's Arctina with Vulpix. There's a Single Strike Lugia. And a Gengar VMAX with the Arceus. So Arceus with pretty much everything still works, it seems. Lostina is super popular. Goodra with Lost Boxes also still a thing. Arctina. And another Lostina. So as mentioned, Lostina does so well. Okay, this is a Turbo Lost Box with some additional friends in the form of Luxray. A Mewtwo V-Union, again with 4 copies of the Reversal Energy, playing that Luxray and Gallade, which both are very implemented with that Reversal Energy. Single Strike Lugia doesn't seem to be changing all that much. You do have Reversal and the Luxray as an answer to Flying Pika. Looks like Miraidon also still around with the Magnezone package as we've seen in the, I don't know if it was the Niigata Champions League, but at one city Champions League, the Miraidon deck did pretty good, and this is something very similar. They have that Radiant Greninja thrown in there as well. Mew with Ice Cube, so the fusion build. Donking people is nice. Kyogre Lost Box. Chien-Pao with Klefki. The YOLO 1 Klefki, I don't understand why people do that because so many decks play Escape Rope. Another fusion Mew. Okay, we're almost through most of the decks that we wanted to be checking out today. So yeah, there's another Gardy. Lost Zard. Actually, Sable Zard with 2 copies of Articuno. Articuno could help to push that Cramorant into 120 or even 130 damage output, which could maybe help. I don't know where it comes into play. 130, yeah, with the Defiance Bench, you can even hit for 170, which is able to 2-shot VSTARs and VMAXs. Lost Tina. Oh wow, so many Lost Tinas. Arc, Umbreon, Duraludon. Looks like Gardevoir always sneaks in. Arctina, and yeah, Arctina with Flying Pikachu, by the way. So a little bit of the same. It's popular that Arctina, Gardevoir, and Lost Tina and Lugia are the best decks in the format, it seems. Or maybe some Turbo Lost Boxes thrown in there as well. And the Vulpix also randomly very popular. Some more Gardies, Lost Tina, Goodra Tina, actually a Goodra Lost Box, and then Chien-Pao with Palkia. So it seems like Palkia is a mainstay in that Chien-Pao deck. Arctina, Panic Mask, and the Box of Disaster seems to be tech cards. Lost Tina. Oh, there's this Zero Aura VMAX with Arceus. They're pretty much pairing everything with Arceus, and that's what we currently see. Gardevoir, Lost Tina. So you have a little bit of an understanding of what the best decks are in the format. Hopefully, guys enjoyed this video of us running through some of the better decks and results from Japan. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in ridiculous ways you have no idea. Go check out the sponsors as well. PokemonStore.com, the best place for TCG Live code cards. Use the referral name. Actually, use the coupon code ZABLUTCG to get 5% off. Go check out your playmat. You can get 10% off today to create your own custom playmat. Upload your favorite wallpaper or design and they turn it into a beautiful playmat. There's Dragon Shield for your sleeves, binders, and deck boxes. Links down below. And cardmarket.com, of course, for European players, where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZABLUTCG. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. Paldea Evolved will be amazing with the comeback potential, and Chien-Pao actually being a viable deck. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG epicness. Peace.